Hello everyone. I've got another crazy crowdfunding project to show you. But before we get into that, I'm sure you guys remember that Waverly translator device that I showed you last time? And so you know I believe this thing was just marketed to creeps who were just going to try to use it to pick up women, right? Because those backers are sold on the fantasy of meeting a hot French piece of ass, and then taking her back to their place to eat her. Well, I found out that somebody already tried that. Let's see how it went.
Excuse me. Hello. I know this is sudden, but can I try and kiss you?
Okay, so he didn't get a kiss, but I guess his approach actually works. It can be a good icebreaker. So there you go, I can admit it, for once in my life I was wrong. These translation devices really work.
It's very normal in the UK. Hey, just one kiss! Just one kiss!
Oh, okay. That didn't take too long. Guys, seriously, what the fuck? You're gonna start chasing women around Japan now asking for a kiss. Didn't you hear what the last girl said? You don't do that shit in Japan. Japanese women don't want to be treated like that. This motherfucker watched Memoirs of a Geisha one too many times.
Today's weather is beautiful, but not as beautiful as you. I just wanted to say,
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I think there's a communication problem happening here, and it's not the fault of the Japanese. It's this asshole trying to use this little translator instead of learning their culture or customs.
It's the dream, you know? A life untethered, free of language barriers.
Guys, seriously, learn the goddamn language before you end up in an episode of Locked Up Abroad.
Excuse me, do you have a second?
No speaking.
I have something amazing. I can speak Japanese. Yay! It's cool, right? I want to try to kiss with you. Yeah? Okay.
Alright, you win this round, motherfucker.
I should thank your parents for making such a beautiful girl on this earth. Do you understand? And I want to try and kiss a beautiful lady like you. Yeah?
Oh, I don't think that's a no.
Can we try? Maybe? Just a little bit?
Ah, she's going for it.
Yeah. Let's try. No one's looking. Just a little bit.
Oh wait, did I mention this guy looks like Thor? Yeah, I knew I forgot to mention something. So yeah, sorry about that. He doesn't look like you or me. He looks like fucking Thor. And I'm sure that had no bearing on this experiment at all. Yep, it was all the translator. For those of us who do know a little bit, or maybe even speak a foreign language, I'm sure that you know that language isn't just about sentences and grammar and punctuation. A lot of it is about communicating with other people. It's about getting along with other cultures that are not your own. Duh! You have to learn things like how to address people without offending them, or words and phrases that you just don't use because they don't make sense or they're highly offensive in another language. Again, these translation devices, they prey on people who don't know anything about foreign languages. So again, learn the goddamn language, even if you're just taking the first steps. And I tell you what, women actually think that's pretty cute. They appreciate that. They appreciate the effort you're going through, instead of, trying to jam a piece of plastic in them. But enough of that, let's move on to the main topic. Today we're going to talk about Flatev, the Artisan tortilla maker. Now this campaign already ended. Maybe for the best, that way you bunch of crazies can't give money to them. But they got almost 3 times what they asked for. And I think it's still interesting, so let's take a look.
This is Flatev. It makes fresh, perfect tortillas in seconds at the press of a button.
Ay, Chihuahua! Look at that sexy, sassy nod. Guys, I think our channel has a new waifu.
It starts with this. This little pot contains a fresh single-serving portion of dough. That's water and stone-ground corn or wheat flour, all natural, non-GMO organic. You drop in a pod, select how soft or crispy you like it, tell it if you're making a flour or corn tortilla, and boom, done.
Alright, so that's what it is. It's this little tortilla maker that uses these pods, kind of like those fancy coffee machines. And on the face of it, that's a pretty cool idea, so let's keep watching.
The drawer keeps your finished tortilla warm, in case you're making more than one at a time. Maybe you're in the mood to try a little something sweet for breakfast. or spice things up at dinner with a chili flavored tortilla. And because they're fresh when you eat them, not when you buy them, they're even better than what you can buy at a bakery.
What? That goofy looking mook is her man? Well, hey, maybe I do have a chance. Nah, I'm kidding, that's actually the creator doing a little cameo in his pitch video.
Think about it. And since each pod makes a single tortilla, you only make what you actually eat, so it cuts down on food waste too.
I love that kid. Look at him bite into that. He's biting into that like it's Robert Muldoon. And before you ask, yes, you can find these gifts down below.
When your bread is fresh, your meals are tastier. When your ingredients are fresh, they're not full of additives, so it's healthier. When you use Flatev, it's faster, it's better, it's delicious.
Okay, so that's their pitch. Seems pretty cool, right? Well, before we go any further, I want to try a little role-playing with you. I want you to pretend that you're like an investor or a market analyst or, something like that. Something where you have to really look at a product and analyze its, pros and cons and is it economically viable, that sort of thing. Go ahead and put on a tie, whatever you have to do to get in the mood. Alright, now let's rewatch the pitch, but I'm going to give you an abbreviated version.
Fresh tortillas. Fresh tortillas, 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 tortilla. Boom. Tortilla, tortilla, tortilla. Delicious.
Alright, now you watched it, you're crunching the numbers, you're trying to decide if this thing can work, and now tell me, what is the biggest number that's on your head? What is the amount that you want to know? Probably the most important thing associated with this product. What do you think? Well, if you answered Carmelita's number, then you are correct. But some other people might tell you a better answer is, how much do those goddamn pods cost? And you can watch all their videos, you could read their whole pitch, and you will not find that amount. Instead, you have to go into the FAQs, and the amount that they anticipate is 79 cents per pod. But again, that's just anticipate, that's not a promise or anything. They hope it will be 79 cents. It would be nice if it was 79 cents, but it is not a promise. Now, some of you may have already caught this, but I'll be honest, I didn't catch it the first time. How many tortillas can you make from a single pod?
And since each pod makes a single tortilla,
One fucking tortilla from a pod. That is insane. So that's 79 cents per tortilla, and that's not even factoring the cost of the Flatev, which at regular price costs $330. It is a huge elephant in the room. I could go down to the store and get a stack of 80 tortillas for about $3.50, and that comes out to a cost of just a little under 5 cents per tortilla. Now, according to Flatev, that doesn't matter. They claim that they're marketing towards people who prefer homemade tortillas. It is the most obvious false dichotomy you've ever heard. According to them, you could either make tortillas from scratch or get the Flatev, make your choice. But if you're really into homemade tortillas, why would you suddenly want to make them from a fucking pod? How do you know it even tastes like a homemade tortilla? If they're truly homemade, doesn't the taste vary by household? And that's one of the biggest problems, you see, because there are tons of different brands of tortillas. So even those of us like me who buy them from a store, know that there are some brands that you just avoid. I've had some bad tortillas, I know what works for me. I've got my own brand that I stick with. But with Flatev, you have to use their pods, and you don't even know what the fuck that tastes like. You're stuck with their recipe. They do have a few videos of people trying out their product, but the only one that actually includes the person eating it. The woman says it's good, but she's just kind of picking at it like it's made out of sandpaper or something. I could be wrong, but I'm just telling you, if their tortillas suck, you're stuck with them. Speaking of those taste tests, you'll also notice that the design is a little different for those prototypes. The prototype looks good. It kind of has like that 1950s futurist design to it, And it has a little part on top for your pods and everything. So why does it look like this now? Well, lucky for us, they made a video explaining it.
The final design of the Flatev product was inspired a lot by the tools and implements that are used to make authentic Mexican food, specifically the molcajete, which is it's kind of like a mortar and pestle, but it's much larger. And so we drew a lot of inspiration from that. We also looked at a lot of other Mexican cultural things, such as we looked at textiles, weavings. We looked at the architecture, everything from the pyramids to the graphics and architecture for the 1968 Mexico Olympics.
textiles, architecture, the fucking pyramids? Do you guys see any of that in this? No, it looks like a Pokemon. Flatev even sounds like a Pokemon. But the craziest part is that you can listen to the whole spiel of this Batman villain, and guess what? None of their redesign is for functional purposes. It's nothing but aesthetics. Why couldn't they just sell the original design? I feel that a Kickstarter campaign should rarely stray from a functional design. It keeps the cost down for the backers who are eventually going to have to bear it. I don't know what the redesign costs, but let me tell you, in this world, nothing is free. If it was, you wouldn't be on Kickstarter. Or hey, maybe it was free and they forgot to add that to the pitch as well. Speaking of which, there's another goodie lurking in the FAQs. How long is it going to take to make a tortilla with this? Well, thanks to the magic of clever editing, you would think this thing churns them out like a copy machine. But the good old FAQ tells us they expect the standard process time to take less than 90 seconds per tortilla. I'm guessing it's going to be close to 90 seconds. I mean, otherwise, why would they have it there? Why wouldn't they say 60 seconds or 30 seconds? But 90 seconds is a long freaking time. Pop-Tarts take less time. And I hate that they're so dishonest about it. We saw the exact same thing before with that translator.
Can you hear me in French?
Pouvez-vous me entendre en français?
Of course they want to edit down the time it takes to use their product, because then it looks more convenient. It's an easier sell.
You drop in a pod, select how soft or crispy you like it, tell it if you're making a flour or corn tortilla, and boom, done.
Carmelita, I will never forgive you for this. We are only 30 seconds into this relationship, and you're already telling me mentiras! Another thing they keep harping on is how their product is environmentally friendly. They say that you can recycle the pods, which sounds good, but I think we could all agree that this is pretty goddamn wasteful. Come on, seriously, 1 tortilla per pod? And when you recycle that plastic, it has to be processed. I mean, what, do you think you plant it, and then a goddamn redwood tree grows? I'm sure you could say the Hummer can be recycled. Just melt it back to steel. But does that mean it's environmentally friendly? Of course not, and it's incredibly politically incorrect these days. Just like these stupid pods. So please, whatever you do, do not go to a Greenpeace conference in your Hummer H2 with a Flatev pumping tortillas out the back. So the biggest question I keep wrestling with in this whole campaign is who is supposed to be buying this? It's definitely not for people like me who pay 5 cents per tortilla at the store. And despite what Flatev is telling us, I do not think it's for people who make their own tortillas from scratch. I think it's made for people who don't even know what a tortilla is. It is made for gullible white people who have more money than sense, and they're drawn to this product because they want to try
authentic cuisine from the indigenous peoples of Latin America and Mexico.
Specifically the molcajete.
Seriously, that's who it's for. People who want to try out a staple of Mexican food, but are afraid they're going to get kidnapped if they go to the Mexican food aisle in their local supermarket. So, of course, a problem like that can only be solved with an over-engineered solution. And get this, Flatev, they're not even the first ones to try to do something like this. Let me tell you a little story about bread makers. Alright, so back when I was a kid, I don't remember exactly when, it was like sometime after OJ got away with murder, but before Surge hit the market, people were tripping the fuck out about bread makers. Seriously, it was a phenomenon. I remember our teacher even brought one in. She was so fucking proud of it. And I can't speak for anyone else, but even back then, I was totally underwhelmed by it. And you know, maybe that was the start of me becoming the cynical asshole that I am today, but I remember I was like, I don't get it. Okay, it's a machine that makes a piece of bread the size of a GameCube, alright. And again, they were huge at that time. And then nowadays, nobody uses them. I know the bread machines are still around, you can still buy one new today. But largely, it was really just a fad that came and went. Do you know why it went away? Because no one wants to make their own bread like it's the 15th fucking century. If you go to a thrift store right now, you can make a fucking igloo out of the discarded bread machines they have there. The bread maker and Flatev are the opposite of progress. We have progressed to the point where normal everyday people don't have to worry about making that stuff. It's just there, you buy it, and at a very good price too. That's progress. If you took your bread maker and a Flatev, got in a time machine, and traveled back 1,000 years, nobody would be impressed with either of those devices. They'd look at you like you're nuts, they'd be afraid of the future. They would think the future is some dystopia. A place where society doesn't exist. Where people can't rely on each other. Where people have to make their own bread and tortillas. And we hunt down Japanese women for affection.
Hey, just one kiss! Just one kiss!
Or, best case scenario, they'll understand that you elected to make your life more complicated than it ever needed to be. Do you know what I would take if I was traveling back in time? I would take store-bought bread and tortillas. and I would tell those people about the progress that we've made. Our progress in preservatives, all that unhealthy junk that we add to the food. I'd tell them about these little molecules that you can't even see or taste, but they make your food last longer and it's healthier. Or better yet, you know what? I would tell them about this machine that I have in my kitchen. This machine that provides me with fresh food. But it's not called a Flatev. They call it a refrigerator. Now that's something they will probably want to hear about. An invention that wasn't just a passing fad. Which brings us to our last point. If you back this, you better hope that Flatev isn't a passing fad. Because if they go under, good luck getting those fucking pods. But it doesn't seem like many people bought it. They made a lot of money, but it wasn't off of a lot of people. I was watching the campaign while it was live, and I'm surprised that more people didn't buy into it. This is usually the type of thing that people just shovel money at on Kickstarter. But who knows? Maybe they were distracted by the thought of Carmelita rolling up their taquito.
Think about it.
Whatever it was, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.